Okay, let's unpack this because I have been staring at the box score from Saturday for like 3 straight days, and the math is just not mathing for me.
Right.
We're looking at a Tennessee team that is sitting pretty at 3-0. They just took down the number 7 team in the country, Texas. They're undefeated, and yet, if you look at social media, if you listen to sports radio, or even if you just talk to fans, the vibe is absolutely not celebration. It feels more like a heated debate. It feels tense.
It really does. It's fascinating because usually you beat a top 10 opponent, the fan base is over the moon. You're printing T-shirts, you're booking hotel rooms for the playoffs.
Yeah.
But here you have this lingering kind of heavy tension hanging over the whole program.
Exactly, it's tension. And here's the central question we really need to answer on this deep dive: is Tennessee actually a disciplined championship contender that is winning what you might call grown man games, or are they a massively overrated squad just flirting with danger, relying on luck, and about to get exposed? Because looking at these numbers, I'm seeing red flags everywhere. I see smoke, and usually where there's smoke, there is a fire waiting to burn the season down.
And I'm looking at the exact same game tape, the exact same plays, and I'm seeing a blueprint for a national title. I mean, this is the classic clash between the stat sheet and the scoreboard.
Okay.
You and I think a lot of the media right now, you want fireworks. You want 50 points. You want dominance. I think what we saw was something much rarer and much more valuable.
Well, I am skeptical. You're going to have to convince me. We are going to get into it. We need to dissect that genuinely ugly 21-17 win over Texas.
Mm-hmm.
We need to talk about Coach Ghost's post-game comments, which were, let's just say, pointed. And we have to look ahead because Tennessee is walking into a nightmare scenario this week. Jordan-Hare Stadium against Auburn.
The ultimate trap game. If you look up trap game in the dictionary, there's just a picture of Jordan-Hare at night.
It is the ultimate trap game. But let's start with the autopsy. The Texas game. 21-17. Low scoring. Physical. Stressful. And frankly, from where I'm sitting, boring. It was a slog.
See, there's that word, boring. Boring is such a dangerous word in football analysis. Usually boring just means effective in a way that doesn't make the social media highlight reel.
But look at the offensive production. We have to talk about Cortez Rashid. The guy's the quarterback of a top-tier team now. His stat line: 16 of 21 for 143 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, 143 yards.
Yeah.
In modern college football, where teams are putting up 500 yards of offense before halftime, that is basically a nap. You cannot tell me that is an elite performance.
If you're playing fantasy football, sure, it's a nap. You're trading him immediately. If you're playing winning football against a top 10 defense, it's a clinic. Let's peel back the layers on that 143 yards number, because the context here is everything.
Please do, because the context I see is just a total lack of explosion.
You mentioned he was 16 of 21. That's a 76% completion rate. That tells me he wasn't forcing the ball. Texas was playing what we call shell coverage all night long.
Right.
Basically, they were keeping their safeties way back in the parking lot to prevent the big play. They were daring Rashid to be patient. They were saying, we bet you'll get bored, and try to throw it deep into double coverage.
So they were just baiting him.
Exactly. They were baiting him to be a hero. And most young quarterbacks, they take that bait. They get impatient. They want the crowd to cheer. They try to force a ball into a tight window because they want that highlight. Rashid took the check down. He threw the 5-yard hitch. He took what the defense gave him.
So you're saying the low yardage was a choice, a strategic decision?
It was discipline. Look at the turnover column. 0. Yeah. Against the number 7 team in the country, and a game where the margin of error was razor thin, Rashid didn't flinch. You're looking for 300 yards and 3 bombs downfield. I'm looking at how he managed the chaos. If he throws 1 interception in that third quarter, Tennessee loses that game.
Yeah.
Period. He didn't lose the game, which gave his team a chance to win it.
But you can't win consistently with 143 yards. That's sustainable for maybe 1 week, but eventually you have to score points. You have to move the ball.
Right.
And it wasn't just the passing game that looked stuck in the mud. The run game was completely stifled. Their sophomore running back, who we know is a talent, we've seen him burst runs, he had 7 carries for 24 yards. That is 3.4 yards a carry.
Yep.
The Texas defensive line was just eating them alive.
They felt it, absolutely. Texas has a monster front. And they were stacking the box, right?
Yeah.
Bringing extra defenders up to the line of scrimmage specifically to stop the run. They said, we are not letting you run the ball.
Which should have opened up the pass, though, right? That's football 101. If they stack the box, you throw over the top.
Theoretically, yes.
Yeah.
But Texas has the kind of athletes who can do both stop the run and still recover in coverage.
Mm.
But here's the insight on the running game. It's not about the average, it's about the timing. You're right, that sophomore RB had no room all night. He was getting hit in the backfield, he was earning every single inch. But late in the game, fourth quarter, when they absolutely needed it, he punches it in.
That was the clutch factor, I will give you that. When they got to the goal line, they didn't get cute.
That is what I mean by grown man football. It's body blows. You punch the body for 3 quarters so you can land the knockout in the fourth. And go back to Rashid for a second. He had 1 rushing touchdown, right?
Yeah, go ahead score on that broken play.
And before that, he converted 2 key third downs with his legs. That's the hidden yardage. When the pocket collapsed, when Neyland Stadium was holding its breath and the play just broke down, he didn't panic.
No, he didn't.
He didn't force a stupid throw off his back foot while falling away. He tucked it, got the first down, or he lived to play another down. He didn't win with flash. He won with control.
It just feels so conservative. It feels like they're playing not to lose rather than playing to win. And usually, in my experience, that mentality, it catches up with you. You play with fire lineup, you get burned.
See, I disagree with the premise. I don't think it's playing not to lose. I think it's understanding exactly what kind of game you're in. It's situational mastery. If you try to force a shootout against a defense like Texas when your own run game is struggling, you lose by 2 touchdowns. Instead, they leaned on their defense. We haven't even mentioned Matthew Carruthers yet.
Okay, fair. Carruthers was a beast. I saw him in the backfield all night.
He was a wrecking ball. And this is a key technical point for you listening. Carruthers is an interior defensive lineman. He creates pressure from the middle, right in the quarterback's face.
And why does that matter more than, say, a defensive end coming off the edge? A sack is a sack, isn't it?
Not exactly. When pressure comes from the edge, a quarterback can step up into the pocket to avoid it. He can climb the ladder.
Right.
But when Carruthers pushes the center backward into the quarterback's lap, there is nowhere to step up. It just destroys the rhythm of the passing game completely because the QB can't follow through on his throw.
Oh, okay.
Carruthers only had 1 sack on the stat sheet, but he forced Texas into bad decisions constantly. That final drive ends with pressure and an incompletion. That doesn't happen by accident. That's a team that knows if they just keep the score close, their defense will close the door.
So your argument is essentially that the ugliness was intentional, or at least managed.
I'm saying the ugliness was accepted. They didn't panic because the stats were low. They just kept chopping wood.
Which brings us perfectly to the philosophy of this team, and specifically Coach Ghost. Because the media, myself included, we were ready to pounce after that game. The narrative was instantly, they aren't dominant or the offense is broken.
Oh, yeah.
And someone asked him about it in the press
I
conference.
love this moment.
A reporter asks straight up, Coach, low scoring game, doesn't look like the Tennessee of the last 2 years. Are you concerned? And the room just goes dead silent. You could hear the air conditioning humming.
And Ghost, he doesn't even smile. He just leans forward and says, concerned? No.
It was the way he explained it, though. He just lists it out. We beat the number 7 team. We didn't turn the ball over. We controlled the clock. We finished. It's like he's speaking a different language than the reporters who want the highlight reel.
He is speaking a different language. He's speaking
Okay.
coach. And then came the line that I think defines this entire season so far.
This is football, not a beauty pageant.
Boom. That is it. That is the bumper sticker. That should be on the t-shirts.
It's a great line, but does it hold water? Because again, fans want the beauty pageant. We pay ticket prices for the show. We want to see fireworks.
Fans want fireworks until they lose 45-42 because their team has no discipline. Ghost said it explicitly. Everyone wants fireworks. I want discipline. I want toughness. And I want a team that doesn't panic when things get uncomfortable. If you connect this to the bigger picture, think about how many talented teams we see every year who just crumble the moment a game gets muddy. They get frustrated because they can't score their 40 points, they start pressing, they throw a pick, and they lose. Ghost is building a team that is comfortable being uncomfortable.
That is a fair point. And there's no better example of that mentality than DeMarco Dunbar. Now, here's a guy who is a superstar receiver. He's on all the preseason watch lists. An explosive playmaker. Against Texas. 2 catches, 53 yards. Texas completely sold out to stop him.
Which is a huge sign of respect. They respected him so much, they basically decided to play 10 on 11 everywhere else just to erase him.
Sure, but in most locker rooms, a star receiver with 2 catches is flipping tables. He's complaining to the QB, he's pouting on the sideline, he is causing a scene. We see the diva receiver syndrome every single Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
But Dunbar had the 1 explosive play and the 1 clutch TD, and that was it.
And even when he was quiet, he was tilting the covers. You said it, Texas sold out.
Dunbar complaining.
That opens up lanes for everyone else, even if the stats don't always show it. What was his reaction? That's the key.
The reporter asked him if he was frustrated, and Dunbar just kind of smiles and says, "Scoreboard, don't count catches."
That gave me chills. Scoreboard, don't count catches. When your star player buys into that, that is when you know the culture is real. It's one thing for the coach to say it. It's a whole other thing for the guy who's trying to get drafted in the first round to say it.
It does sound like they are all drinking the Kool-Aid. Coach Ghost was asked if the team is championship caliber, and he said, "I know what championship football looks like. This team's learning how to win when it's hard."
And that is the crux of it. Winning when it's easy, when you're up 30 points and everyone is high-fiving, it doesn't teach you anything. It's fun, but it's empty calories. Winning a grinder against Texas teaches you everything you need for what's coming next.
And what's coming next is terrifying. This brings us to the trap game. Tennessee travels to Auburn. It's a night game at Jordan-Hare Stadium.
The Bermuda Triangle of college football.
Seriously, Auburn is 2-2. On paper, Tennessee should roll. But the narrative, the national media, everyone is saying, this is where ranked teams go to die. Why is that place so weird?
It happens every year. Weird things just happen at Jordan-Hare at night. The ball bounces funny. The referees make strange calls. The crowd noise there isn't just loud, it's disjointed. It messes with your head. It's like voodoo.
And you have the "is Tennessee overrated" graphics flying around on TV. You have analysts saying Tennessee is flirting with danger. But what really spices this up is the disrespect coming from the Auburn side. Did you see the quotes from their
No, I saw them. They are certainly confident.
Confident is one word for it. I might use reckless.
Yeah.
The Auburn linebacker said, "They don't scare us. They bleed like everybody else." And the receiver said, "They haven't seen our crowd yet. They are treating this like their Super Bowl."
And they should be. They're desperate. Think about the psychology here. Auburn is 2-2. They played two ranked teams already. They are back into a corner. If they win this, they save their season. Auburn is going to be loud, emotional, and desperate.
That is a dangerous combination. And local radio down there is playing those clips on repeat. They're whipping that crowd into a frenzy.
But look at the contrast. Auburn is loud. They're talking trash in the media. What is Tennessee doing?
They seem eerily quiet. I haven't seen a single quote on a bulletin board from a Tennessee player.
Exactly. It's the difference between emotional and locked in. Coach Ghost was asked about the noise. A reporter asked, how do you prepare a young quarterback like Rashid for this environment?
And Ghost says, you don't prepare them for noise. You prepare them to trust their training.
See, that's a profound shift in perspective. Most coaches bring in massive speakers to practice and blast jet engine noises to simulate the stadium. They try to mimic the chaos. Ghost is saying the external factors, the crowd, the hype, the bands, they don't matter if you trust your internal training. He's teaching them to tune it out, not just endure it.
But the best quote came from Cortez Rashid himself. He's a young guy. First real hostile road environment. The mics are in his face, asking what he expects, and he just says, I expect it to be loud, but loud doesn't change reads.
That went viral for a reason. Loud doesn't change reads. Yeah. That is an icy response.
Can you break that down for the listeners who might not play? What does he mean by read?
A read is the logic puzzle the quarterback solves before he throws. Right. He looks at the safety, is he deep? He looks at the linebacker, is he blitzing? Based on that, he knows where the ball is supposed to go. Rashid is saying, the noise hurts my ears, but it doesn't move the defenders. A cover 2 defense is a cover 2 defense. Whether it's in a library or a rock concert, the geometry of the game stays the same.
Coach Ghost even pushed back on the idea that this is a prove-it game for Rashid. He called it a trust game. He said, I trust him, the team trusts him, that's enough.
It creates this fortress around the team. The media is saying, are you good enough? And the coach is saying, we trust you. It removes the pressure to perform and replaces it with the responsibility to execute. Okay, but let's look at the reality of the situation. We can talk about mindset all day, but Vegas only has Tennessee favored by 3.5 points. That is a razor-thin margin for a 3-0 team against a 2-2 unranked team. Mm-hmm. That tells me Vegas smells an upset. Vegas knows something. They know about the Jordan-Hare voodoo. They know that home underdogs in the SEC at night are dangerous. And a majority of the expert picks I've seen are actually predicting an Auburn upset. Social media is already drafting the Dynasty Dead post. The skepticism is real. Yeah. My worry, and I think the worry of every Tennessee fan, is that if the offense comes out flat again, if Rashid only has 70 yards at halftime, that crowd is going to eat them alive. You can't just manage a game if the other team is playing with their hair on fire. Oh. If you fall behind early in that stadium, you are done. Here's the counter-argument, though. Auburn is going to try to copy the Texas defensive strategy. They watch the tape. They're going to hold Dunbar quiet, load the box, and dare the run game to beat them. Oh, okay. But Tennessee has already proven they can win that way. They have already lived through the worst-case scenario offensively and come out with a W. So you think the Texas game was actually the perfect preparation? 100%. If Tennessee had blown out Texas 45-0, they might walk into Auburn overconfident. They might think they're invincible. They might panic the first time they go 3 and out. But now, they know they can win ugly. They know they can survive a street fight. It really feels like a clash of vibes, you know? Auburn is desperate and loud. Tennessee is quiet and locked in. And usually, in high-pressure situations, the quiet team wins. Emotion is great for the first quarter. Adrenaline is a powerful drug. But adrenaline wears off. Discipline wins the fourth quarter. When the legs get heavy, you need execution, not emotion. One analyst summed it up pretty well. If Tennessee wins this one, it won't be pretty, but it'll say a lot. And I think that's where I'm landing. I don't expect a blowout. I expect another nail-biter. I agree. It will not be a beauty pageant. But if they walk out of Jordan here with a win, regardless of the stats, you have to start looking at them as a legitimate threat to win it all. Because surviving that gauntlet Texas, then Auburn away, that is championship resilience.
It's funny, we started this by asking if they're sustainable or lucky, and I think we're realizing that what looks like luck to the outsider might actually be a very specific, very intentional kind of fortitude.
Exactly. We are so obsessed with
That's crazy as fuck. Damn.